And so welcome traders to another video, and in today's video I'm going to be making a forecast on the pairs that I'm watching for the coming week. Okay, for the coming week. And so without further ado, let's get into this. So at the moment I am on a 3-month chart time frame for the dollar index, right? The dollar index. And so as you can see, this is my dealing range high and my dealing range low. And we see how price has been supported or resisted from these levels. And at the moment we are at the 50 dealing range, 50 DRT level, moving up into the 62.5 DRT level, where we have this fair value gap and this order block. Okay, this fair value gap and order block. Let me enlarge it so that you can see, right? This fair value gap seated right here, okay. So that is where price is heading to at the moment. So the only thing I'm looking at is how is price going to be supported from within this level into the 62.5. And so to do that, I just move into the monthly to look for confluences. Okay, then we see how price, just after tapping into the 50 DRT level, where we have this tiny order block seated right here, we have this inverse fair value gap also seated right here. Price just moves up, shoots up. Okay, and so here price has moved aggressively, and so we just move into the lower time frame, see how. So prior to these moves, I was looking at this, if price was willing to drop into this order block seated right here before we had the move, but then price just pushed up, and then we are going further up, and that is fine because I do not trade the dollar index, but I focus on Euro USD and GBP USD. Okay, and so looking at this, what you see here is just right. This is the 37.5 DRT level. So this is the 50 DRT level. The next is the 50 DRT level, and then we go to the 62.5. And so what is I have done here is just divided the 50 DRT level and the 62.5 DRT level into the various levels, right, that I already have from the high time frame, to see where price could find support or resistance from as we move upwards. So as you can see here, this is the order block I marked from the weekly, which I thought price would have dropped into, but see price failed to come all the way here and then just moved up. Then inside of those two levels, the 50 and the 62.5, see that price moved up, dropped into the 12.5 level, where we have this fair value gap. We have this huge order block, moved up. We saw support at the 25 DRT level as well. We moved up, came in here, then we've pushed up, right? And so should we make any retracement downwards like we've done here and here and also here, it would be for us to get into what another buying opportunity on the dollar index, where we have this volume imbalance close to the 50 DRT as well. So with this, I'll move into Euro USD and GBP USD to see how we can form our ideas around them. Okay, and so similar to what we have done on the dollar index, the charts remain the same. So every week is just the same thing that we do. So weekly for on the 3-month chart frame, these are high and are low, giving us the daily range low and high. So we've already tapped in here, and this is something we've discussed. I've said several times on the this in my videos and so we've tapped into the order block. We are dropping down into the 25 DRT level where we have this entire order block, and so we are looking for price to get into this place, and then we assess price for higher moves or lower moves. Okay, so this is the monthly time frame. We go into the weekly time frame. Okay, and then prior to all of this move, I said I was looking for lower prices for price to drop, but then would have assessed what price would have done here side of this fair value gap and this order block, and we see price just disrespected it. So what we are doing is to see, we would want to see price trade to this level, to this 25 DRT level. So we move on into the daily, and inside the daily what I did was I divided it between the level, the 37.5 and the 25 DRT level. I divided it into the various levels on the daily. So let us have a look at that. This is something I've said over and over, that's why I am able to run through them. Okay, and then prior to the market open last week, we had this price was around this area, then we had this fair value gap seated exactly at the 62.5 level within 62.5 level, within those two, within the 37.5 and then 25 DRT level, which we've already established. Okay, so you see we have the 12.5, the 25, the 37.5 and the 50. So this demarcation is just between the 25 and then the 37.5. okay, and so price was here, price was around this region, and then when market opened we had this fair value gap seated exactly at the 62.5, and so price tapped into it, and then we've been dropping lower, and then the target for us is the idea is for us to drop lower into this level, the 25 DRT level, from the higher time frame. Okay, from the higher time frame. And so the only thing we do is go into the 3-hour and then the 4-hour charts to see areas of confluences, to find areas of confluences where price could retrace from. And at the moment you see that on the 37.5 DRT level, right, price has moved down. On the 37.5 we have created an order block right over here, right, and so should price make some retracement into the 37.5, we'll be looking for signals for us to sell to the downside. Okay, so let me move into the 3-hour and then have a look. So you see how over here price was resisted from the 50, created this order block here, we tapped into the order block, ran lower, created this fair value gap, ran lower. Now we have this order block here. Should price make a retracement up, we'll be looking for sales to the downside. Okay, let me look into the 1-hour. Let's look at the 1-hour and see whether that order block will be a bit refined. Okay, so on the 1-hour we see that we have this fair value gap just above, so we can assess to see whether price would go deeper into this fair value gap, whether it will just reject from the 37.5 or even just run lower from here. Okay, or just run lower from here. So where this could be a setup, cover the high, just this is a 1:2. We can go lower depending, or wait for price to get here, find confluence whether price will go down again, and then we move on. So with that being said, let us move into GBP USD. GBP USD. Okay, and similarly it's the same dealing range as before, right? And so we want, with dollar index moving up, we want to see the British pound move down. And so as we can see from here, it's moving down, and then the only thing we are going to do is look at confluences within these two levels, the 37.5 and the 50, as to where and how price is going to, where and how price is going to, move down. I think I messed with the daily range, so let me check that, fix that quickly. Okay, so now we can move into the daily chart and then see. Like that. Let's move into the daily chart. Good. And so inside of the daily chart, what I have done is simple. I have divided the various levels . The two levels into the various DRT levels. Okay, so that is what we have, and that is what we have right here. And then we can see that price has been seeing, rejections of the levels. So we have 62.5 here, the 50 DRT level, and then this other block which sat at the 37.5 DRT level. Price moved up, tapped into it, and then we've been trading downwards. We have this order block seated here from the weekly time frame. We have this order block seated here, and I want to see what price will do here. If I anticipate that we run lower, we disrespect this one, but it sits at a key level, the 25 DRC level, and so I would like to see how price reacts. Even though I would want to see it run through, then we go. So into the 4-hour time frame, this was a setup I missed. Price did not retrace enough to trigger me in, or no, I think I rather took the opposite of this on the similar trade on this on Euro USD, but then Euro USD did not retrace enough to get me into this trade. Yes, I think that was it. And then we just run lower, and so I had a trade idea on here, but then I did not take it on this one. I set a limit on Euro USD, and then I missed it. And so this is the trade idea, and I'm looking for price to run even lower, but I'll prefer Euro USD to GBP USD because Euro USD is more primed for the short than this because of this weekly order block which I've marked with this line. So I'll focus on Euro USD more than GBP USD. Okay, than GBP USD. And I have currently in a trade on NZD USD, right? I'm going to link it up somewhere here so that you can watch it. The trade is still running, and then you can still catch some move on that, and so it's good. And because GBP USD, Euro USD, and the dollar index are moving in a particular direction, that is why I have the entry in NZD USD, looking for sales in that as well. And so far it's in good profit, and I think it's going to run lower. So you can check that video as well, and then get yourself into that move. Okay, and so let's move into the last one, which is going to be USD JPY. USD JPY. Right. So yeah, as you can see, I've already made some profits off of this, and I'm still looking for it to run higher. So with USD JPY, we are going to start from the 6 months time frame. Okay, then as you can see, price is in an uptrend, found support here, broken above, found support here, we've broken above, and so I want to see price continue up. And then we look to the far left, we see how price was supported here at the 50 DRT level. So I want to see us move into the 50 DRT level again, where we have this large gap and then this wick right here which shows resistance. Okay, so now let us move into the monthly time frame to see what price is doing. So at the 37.5 DRT level of that range, we see that price had this fair value gap and this order block. We failed to come into this order block and we are moving up. Okay, so the idea is that we are going into the 50 DRT level. So we would have to divide these levels, the 50 and the 37.5, to see how price moves up, where we'll find support and resistance into the 50 DRT level. Then this is somewhere we can see as a target already, where price could attack for the next incoming week. Okay, now let us move into the weekly chart. Now inside of the weekly chart, we see that we have already tapped into this order block, right? Tapped into this order block. Let me just mark it exactly, this order block, and price has moved up. And at the moment you can also see that we formed this bullish order block on the weekly. So should price run lower and even deeper into this one, we'll be anticipating that we find some support inside here and then move upwards. Okay, so on the daily chart, this is it. So this here is the 50 and then here is the 37.5, and then we've used them as our high and our low, and we've marked that as our dealing range, our current dealing range, yes, current dealing range, and we are moving upwards. Okay, then we are moving upwards. So as you can see, just at the 12.5 we had this support, it was just a perfect support, and then we moved up. Then we had this fair value gap form below the 25 DRT level. We broke above the 25 DRT level, then we formed this order block, we tap into it, then we are moving up. See, then you see this is the 37.5, which is very close, which is very close, right? And so let's move into the 4 hour and then see. I think that is where yeah, okay, so this is the 5 minute, not the 4 hour chart. Let's go into the 4 hour chart exactly. So inside of the 4 hour chart, what I have done here is that I have divided the 25 DRT level and the 37.5 DRT level into the various levels as well, to see how price would be supported inside of these levels into the 37.5. and then this line here, this black horizontal line which overlaps with the 87.5, is actually an order block in the weekly. This is it, right? This order block. That is why I made mention of this bullish order block as well. So should price tap into it and wants to retrace lower, we know that it's not out of, it shouldn't be a surprise, so that we see that price could come here and then run up, or price could just trade through it as well. And so the 4 hour again, the 4 hour again, so this is where we are running to the 37.5 DRT level. This is a 1:6 trade which I have closed. I closed at this place. We didn't hold until full TP, so that is fine. Then we go into the 3 hour to see how price has been supported. So you see that over here we created this order block in here. I think here we moved up, we got support from here at the 0, which is of the range we have marked. We move into the 12.5. see, okay, let me enlarge this a bit so that it's a bit clear, because I'm the one recording and then you might not see it properly. So we moved up, see, at the 0 which is the 25 of the higher time frame. At the 0, we found support here. At the 12.5, there's a fair value gap and an order block. We also find support here. We run through this, and then at the 37.5, see, we found support here again, and at the 50 DRT level we found support here, and then we are running up. So the idea is that should we trade lower, we should find support in this as well and then move up. Now inside of the 1 hour chart, this is it. It's even more profound here. See, inside of the 1 hour chart, it's even more profound here. So this is a setup I have on USD JPY at the moment. So I am anticipating that price runs lower into this order block seated right here, seated on the at the 50 on the 50 DRT level. So I want to see price run lower like this, come down, and then trade up into this level, and then potentially this level. Okay, so into the 87. So should we have the 87.5, that is going to give us a 1:3 setup. This could also give us a 1:4.25 setup. So this is what I'm looking, still bullish on Euro USD, and then we move up into this level. All right, and so these are the potential setups that could be forming next week. So I hope someone does take advantage of it, because I'll be looking at this best, and then should everything align for me and everything play out exactly as I want, I'll be getting into 1 or 2 of these setups. Okay, so this has been it. Thank you guys for being here again, and in another video we shall talk. Stay safe. Bye.